So I remember doing a lot of camping. That was something I really enjoyed, something I really still enjoy doing as an adult as well. Um, as far as summer camp, I went to Camp Siniquippi for 2 years. So that was very memorable. A lot of great experiences from summer camp. Um, I remember tenting with my best friend at the time, having a really good time. Uh, I was focused a lot on trying to earn as many merit badges as I could with my as going through those 2 years of summer camp at Siniquippi. Um,
Any of them
some
memorable to you? Stand out, merit badge wise?
I remember some of my favorite merit badges were some of the shooting sports. I earned archery merit badge. The first year I earned rifle shooting merit badge, and then after summer camp later, Boy Scouts did away with rifle shooting. No, I'm sorry, it was rifle and shotgun shooting merit badge at the time, and then afterwards they broke that up into two different merit badges. And so my second year at camp, I earned rifle shooting merit badge.
Okay,
So I have the rifle and shotgun shooting merit badge and the rifle shooting merit badge.
okay.
So through my church, as a Cub Scout, I earned the Faith in God Award, and then as a Boy Scout, I earned the On My Honor Award. Other awards, I earned the Cub Scout, Boy Scout World Conservation Award. I earned a total of 26 merit badges. Outside of earning merit badges at summer camp, some of the most memorable merit badges, one was beekeeping. At the time, my dad was doing some beekeeping, so we had some hives of bees in the backyard, and I remember doing beekeeping. I remember going out with him and putting on the suit and getting the smoker out and looking at all the bees. That was a lot of fun. I remember one time they chased my dad. That was never seen him run so fast. Other merit badges, well, family was really into gardening, so I remember earning gardening merit badge, plant science merit badge. I always liked to collect things. At the time, they didn't have collections merit badge, but I remember earning stamp collecting merit badge. Still have all those stamps to this day. So those were kind of some of the merit badges that kind of stood out to me.
Well, along the line, it seems like you earned some of the essential for Eagle Scout because I can see the Eagle Scout knot on your shirt. When did you earn that?
So I earned Eagle Scout actually when I was 17. So in 1992, I earned the Eagle Scout Award. That was right up towards my turning 18. So I kind of made a push at the end. You mentioned some of the essential merit badges. The very first merit badge that I ever earned was first aid merit badge. I remember later on in scouting going to the district first aid meet. At the time, that was held at the gymnasium at the Frederick Community College. And I remember one of the scenarios, the judge singled me out on a question that I couldn't answer, and it cost us some points. So I think our patrol didn't get as good a placement as we could have because I couldn't answer that question. I don't remember what that question was. I just remember I couldn't answer it. 16 or so, when I transitioned into the varsity scout program. So, yeah, so when I earned my Eagle, I was a varsity scout.
And that was through 324, Troop 324?
That's correct.
So as you look back over your youth scouting career, are there things that stand out that you got from scouting, you learned from scouting, that still stick with you today from your youth program?
Yeah, there's many things actually.
Okay.
Earlier I was talking a little bit about Eagle Scout and what you kind of learn from that. You know, there's a lot that goes into being an Eagle Scout from day one when you join scouting. Your work, that was my goal, was to become an Eagle Scout. So learn a lot through. I mentioned merit badges. I mentioned leadership skills. I remember I was a patrol leader at one time. When I was first in the troop, our troop had 3 patrols when I first joined. I remember that you can kind of we got to pick what patrol we wanted to be in at the time, and so of course I joined the patrol that my friends at the time were in. So that was a lot of fun in scouting, being able to spend time with your friends through scouting events and things like that.
Now, varsity, what was the age that you transitioned into varsity?
So I was saying that I was about 16 when I
Okay.
got into the varsity scout program. About some of the things that I got out of scouting and giving service was a big part. So especially like my Eagle Scout project. So for my Eagle Scout project, I worked with my church in putting that together, as getting it approved, because I did my Eagle Scout project at the State Center in Frederick, where I repainted all of the parking lot lines at the church. And the handicap spaces, I put down a couple new handicap spots in the parking lot and did landscape work around the building. I remember trying to put that together, doing diagrams of the parking lot on grid paper and all that. But that was a lot of fun too, you know.
And you had to organize that and have other youth help you with the project, I assume.
Yeah, so pretty much everybody that helped me with my Eagle project, it was stretched over to 2 Saturdays to get it all done. Basically, it was members of my troop that were with me through that. Remember my brother, he was in the troop. My younger brother was in the troop, and remember he came out and helped. The church actually paid for all of the supplies needed to carry out the service project. I believe my Eagle Scout service project totaled about 125 hours or so. So it wasn't a ton of hours, but I felt that it was a very worthwhile little project, and so service was a big part of what I gained and learned through my youth scouting. Something that I always tried to give as an adult as well, to give back to scouting, to give service. So it was a big part of service as well.
Do you want to talk about some of the scouting ideals that you learned and have stuck with you and what it means to you?
Sure. So take for instance Scout Oath, Scout Law. There's so much that's part of those two. You know, going through rank requirements, you have to understand and be able to recite the Scout Oath and Law. But I think that every one of those 12 points of the Scout Law are important for every Scout to learn and to carry with them throughout their whole life. The Scout Oath. what an important thing that is that scouting teaches. The scout motto, be prepared. And that's another thing that stuck with me. Scout slogan, do a good turn daily. You know, these are all the things that scouts learn as soon as they join scouting, are these scouting ideals. And I think that's a very big part of scouting, something that every youth should really understand and live by. Scoutmaster. So I became Scoutmaster in February of 2001. And so I've been Scoutmaster ever since. So I've been Scoutmaster for next February, next year would be 19 years as Scoutmaster.
Impressive.
I was just talking to my bishop just a few weeks ago, who was the stake clerk, Stephen Allgaier, and he says there's nobody in the state that's ever had a same calling for that long. So I'll always, I mean, that was my real passion in scouting, was Scoutmaster.
What did you enjoy most about that?
Wow. All right. The one thing I enjoyed most about Scoutmaster was working with the youth in the troop. Okay. And I think as an adult leader, that's where it's out, and that's where it's at in scouting, is working with the youth. And that's what kept me going, the Scoutmaster. It's working with those youth, you know, spending time with them and sharing in their experiences and teaching them and seeing them grow. And you know, I had lots of scouts become Eagle Scouts, and it's very rewarding. That keeps me going. So throughout my time as Scoutmaster,
How did it vary in size during?
we were anywhere from 5 scouts to 22 scouts, so it varied throughout the years.
Okay.
But yeah, Scoutmaster, that was the position that I enjoyed most. Out of all the positions that I had in scouting,
Okay.
you know, we'll go through some of those, but yeah, but I really took an interest in the scouts. Okay, you know, if there was a scout that was in baseball, I would go to his baseball games. You know, if there was a scout that was in choir at school, I would go watch his concerts at school. Yeah, that
Pretty impressive, Shawn.
just working with the youth. That's what kept me going. That's what made scouting so enjoyable for me. Advancement is a natural occurrence from them participating in activities. So if you're having activities that are fun, that keep them coming out, you know, they're gonna advance, you know. So
Good answer.
thinking of being advancement chair on the committee, it was very important to keep all those advancement records. And as Scoutmaster, even after I didn't have that position as the official position of the advancement chair on the troop committee, even as Scoutmaster after that, I still did all the advancement records myself.
So when you were Scoutmaster, you got out and did winter camping too?
Sure, Scoutmaster, we went camping once a month throughout the whole year. Yeah, that was a big thing in the troop. Some other training that really taught me a lot as well was going to the Philmont Training Center. I actually went to the Philmont Training Center 4 different times. We also had activities outside. There was a organized patch trading area right outside of the museum. That was one of our responsibilities, was to monitor that a little bit.
Where was that held? In what country?
Oh, I'm sorry. In 2011 was in Sweden.
That's right, you said.
Kristianstad, I believe, was the city there in Sweden that was held at. The other activity they had outside of the museum was a leather activity. Scouts come across and you help them make leather projects. It's another activity that we were part of as museum staff. Um, but also 2011, I mentioned shows being a big part at National Jamboree, same at World Jamboree. One show, everybody gets together. There must have been, these World Jamborees, there's 30,000 plus people there. And for one of the shows, it was raining. It was raining pretty good, and everybody was still there cheering and having a good time. And so when they started the show, they said, "Well, it's raining. It's raining. Do you guys all want to go, or do you want to stay?" And everybody just cheered and said, "We want to stay. We want to stay." And so they carried on the show in the rain. It rained really hard, actually. At World Jamboree in England and Sweden, there were two official languages, English and French. So when they had the shows, they had two hosts for the show, and one said it in English, the other one would say it in French. In Sweden, they had the band ABBA. They're from Sweden. They performed, and another interesting thing at the show, the King of Sweden was there and did his special rocket cheer that he likes to give. And, he spent a lot of time walking around the Jamboree, especially visiting the Swedish scouts and leaders that were there. He actually came through the museum while I was there, and we were told not to approach him unless he says something to you. Of course, he walked right on by me, but didn't say anything to me. And of course, I always wanted to go to Gilwell Park. And while I was there, I actually met my Wood Badge Scoutmaster, which was kind of interesting. Dan McCarthy. He was there at Gilwell when I was walking around, so it was kind of cool to see your Wood Badge Scoutmaster at Gilwell Park. But
And Gilwell Park, again, is a location of, explain the significance of that.
So Gilwell Park is kind of the home of Wood Badge, you
Right.
know.
Right. Okay.
Of course, I had to get the trading post that was there. Got a Wood Badge neckerchief. Of course, they sold out of the beads that were there. Everybody wanted to go and get beads there. So one of the first trainings that is most memorable to me was going through Wood Badge. I took Wood Badge participated in Wood Badge when I was 20 years old. I had to wait until I was 20 because at the time you had to be in scouting for 2 years. So I joined at 18, so when I was 20 I was able to go through Wood Badge. And Wood Badge was a great experience for me. It was actually held at Claude Moore Farm. That was the first year the council had it at that location. But Wood Badge taught me a lot. We were talking earlier about what you kind of gain out of your experience from youth and things like that. But taking Wood Badge at age 20 really set me up for my adult scouting career as a scoutmaster and everything, all the other positions I had. The skills you learn in Wood Badge really taught me a lot. So I'm actually in the Bob White Patrol. So Wood Badge was a great experience for me. one of the events that I went to pretty consistently was the Commissioner College and University of Scouting. Well, it started with University of Scouting, and then became Commissioner College plus University of Scouting. It was kind of different how the council coordinated those training events, so University of Scouting, I earned Bachelor and Masters of Boy Scouting Science, and then I didn't mention this before, but I was also on Boy Scout Roundtable staff for a few years. So going to Commissioner College, I earned a Bachelor of Roundtable Commissioner of Science. After that, going to these, I earned the Bachelor's and Master's of Commissioner Science, and right now I'm working on my doctorate, which is actually how to do intertroop sporting events at the district level, which council was pretty excited that I was putting something like that together that other districts could look at and try to implement such a program throughout the council.
Or you started the intertroop sports program, I believe, with the district. Tell me about that.
So that kind of started out with just putting a bowling event together for the district, and from there it spread to what it is now. After that bowling tournament, it went pretty well. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I was kind of thinking of, we should have more events like this, more than just a bowling event. And so probably a few years after that bowling event, we kind of have this whole intertroop sporting event. And I thought it was a good way for scouts to come together, participate in a sporting activity, but also have some competition involved. And depending on the event, individual competition or competition between troops. That troop rivalry there is can get pretty intense as well. Trying to recognize the scouts for those events with awards. And so, that's something that still do today. Something that I think it's been a big part of the district as far as some of the activities that go on.
How's it expanded? To what sports now do you include in this program that they compete individually or as on a troop basis?
So over the years we've had 9 different events, or 8. Let's see, we've had putt-putt golf, the bowling, of course, that was the one that kind of started all of it. Table tennis, volleyball, dodgeball, 3-on-3 basketball, shooting sports. So right now it's 5 events. So I took C badge just last year, October of 2018. It was held at Bethany Beach, Delaware, at a training base there. So that led me to another training. I had to go and take the Sea Scout Adult Leader basic training before I could go to Sea Badge. So I took that training as well. If you notice, when I went through different positions, I've never had a position in Sea Scouting, but I wanted to learn more about it. So I thought, what's a better way to learn about Sea Scouting than going and taking Sea Badge? Another thing I'm very, very proud of that was awarded in Catoctin Mountain as well as Francis Scott Key District was their Scoutmaster of the Year award. And I received that in 2004, 2010, 2015, and 2018. It's not really something that they present to the same person often. They try to spread that around and recognize all the great scoutmasters that we have here in Frederick County. So very proud of being recognized with an award like that. In 1996, I actually joined the district committee in Francis Scott Key District, part of the National Capital Area Council. And then in 1999, I was asked to be the district vice chair of program. I did that for 2 years, and I'm still on the district committee. So I've been on the district committee now for 23 years in a row. Try to make a point of attending every district committee meeting and
through
providing as much support to the district as I possibly could. Okay, so I started out as the chair of the district ward of merit committee.
uh-huh.
So I was the chair, had a committee, and we would review the applications that would come in for district award of merit, and as a committee, we would review the applications and then put in our submissions to council of who we thought were the most deserving people for that year to receive the district award of merit. In 2008, I received the Silver Beaver from the National Capital Area Council. And that was a very special evening when they presented that award. I remember my dad, my father, he was my escort for that, and actually he was the one that hung the medal on me during the ceremony. So I actually have a great picture of that up on stage that I actually have in a frame. In February of this year, 2019, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And at the time I found out, it had already metastasized to my liver and lungs. From there, it's been an incredibly difficult and hard time. The past 9 months have probably been the hardest time of my entire life. From there, I kind of started chemotherapy, but still tried to do as much scouting as I could. I went to a lodge fellowship in the spring. I made it to a section conclave in May. I mentioned before, in June, I went to the lodge leadership development conference, but had a lot of difficulties and problems while I was at those events. But I made it through those events because of the other scouters that were there and my friends that were there that kind of knew what I was going through. And they were always there for me. They were the ones that really supported me through those events and got me through them. And with the troop,
I'm sure they've been supportive of you.
they have. I missed a lot of campouts from February all the way till now. But I made it to one event, which I'll mention a little bit later. But I did go to the April Court of Honor, and I love going to these courts of honor to recognize the scouts for their achievements and present awards. It's very rewarding. But at that court of honor in April, it was actually Sister Moody, Alana Moody, who was mother of 3 scouts in the troop, and she actually put together a book for me. And I'll show this book here. She called it A Salute to Shawn. She was actually gonna put this together and give it to me at the end of the year. If you're a little familiar with scouting in the LDS Church, at the end of this year, the church isn't gonna charter scouting units anymore. So she was going to present it then until she heard about my diagnosis, and she put this book together pretty quick. And it was a total surprise. At the end of the court of honor, she called me forward. Didn't even know this was going to happen, and she presented me this. It was like a present. It was wrapped, and I didn't know what it was. And she said, "Shawn, I want you to open this." And I opened it up, and there was this book. And in this book are letters written to me from the scouts in the troop, a lot of scouts that I've had in previous years, as well as letters from some parents, even some siblings of the scouts. But couldn't believe this book, everything that is written in here. I've looked this book a lot. I've read through it many times. I think I cry every time I read this book, but I keep it on the coffee table in the living room at home just so I can see it every day. I see this book. To the youth out there, whether what age you are, is to join and get involved. I believe that the scouting program is second to none. I think it's the best program for youth in the country. And I think what scouting teaches you and what it provides, I think every youth should get involved with scouting, give it a try. As far as the adults go, if you're looking for something worthwhile to do, if you're looking to get involved, especially working with youth, if you're looking to give service, if you're looking for a way to develop the youth, you should become a volunteer. There are so many different positions, so many different ways that you can get involved in scouting. But I wanted to close and end with a few statements. So this cancer that I have, this colon cancer, this is what's going to end my life. It's terminal cancer. This cancer is what's going to end my 37-year scouting career. I hope to have several more months to live. But I think there's 2 things that have really gotten me through everything. One is scouting, and everything that I think I'll mention more than just 2 things, but scouting and everything that I've been taught, everything I've learned, and I mentioned earlier about scouting, Scout O, Scout Law, You know, I've had tremendous support from the scouting community here in the district and the council and the lodge, and friends all over the country that have contacted me. Fred here has been a huge support to me. He's done a lot for me, a lot that I'm so grateful for. There's so many scouters and friends that have just stepped forward and said they'll help me any way they can. I think the other thing that, well, other things that have gotten me through this are also my family. Been supportive. My brother's made sure that he came out and saw me. He's planning to come out again with his family to see me again. Hope to see him in mid-December, as well as Christmas time with his whole family in mid-December. I was actually contacted by the Dream Foundation. They're working on an event to put together for me that will hopefully include my brother and my two oldest nephews, his two oldest boys. But the thing is my membership in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and all of my friends, all the members there have been so supportive of everything. There's just so many people that would just, in a drop of a hat, just do whatever they could, and a lot of them already have. But I think when it comes to the church, I think from all the things I've been taught, I think with what I've been taught by my family growing up and going to Sunday school, and church teaches you so much. You're constantly learning and studying scriptures but I think I have an understanding of Heavenly Father's plan. I believe I know where we were, what we did before we came to Earth, and I think I know what our mission and purpose here is on Earth. And I think that's another reason I got involved with scouting so much and love that. And I think I know what happens to us and where we go once we pass away from mortality. And I think because of all that, I'm at peace with dying. And I think I'll end there, Fred.
Shawn, thank you for what you've done for scouting in Frederick County. Few have done as much as you have been able to do in your lifetime.